Hi, I'm Scott Clares, and I'm back here again with my partner in crime, Rob Gale.
Indeed, criminal at large, and this is the Winged Victory podcast, just for full disclosure.
Yeah, but today we are joined by an extremely talented, amazing Warbird performer, and if you've been on any major air show probably in the last decade or so, you've seen him perform for sure.
Yep.
Mr. Jim Tobul.
Boy, every time you say that, I owe you $20.
Thank you very much. Hey.
Just it's a running tab.
Oh, it's
Jim.
okay.
Yeah, it's a running tab.
Okay, you got a plus.
So, you do many different, you got like 3 different routines you do. You do a solo aerobatic routine in your F4U Corsair that's sitting right behind us here, Korean War Hero. You also are one of a handful of very talented legacy flight people. You get to fly with a couple of F-18s on your wing, and also you do the class of 45 with Scott Yoak in his P-51 Quicksilver. So, I mean, what is life like for you on the road doing air show after air show after air show from spring till, fall?
Wow.
I mean, that's a lot. I know it's a big question, right?
It's a lot, and I'm blessed in so many ways to be where I am today. Yeah. But if you go back and where it started, I started when I was 9 years old, and Dad threw me in the Stephenson 108, and off I went. It's been in Warbird, so it's been T6 time. It's been all sorts of different aircraft time to finally get to this point. So I have a good basis, and then I decide to carry it to that next step and do aerobatics. And so I perform on a full aerobatic maneuver package with this Corsair to demonstrate its capability. And then you have to change your skill set over to flying with an F-18 Super Hornet, a Rhino, an F-35. So it's a whole different type of flying skill set to fly with these aircraft, which is current Navy assets, with an old Warbird. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And flying with Scott Yoak, oh my gosh, he's as old as my oldest son. So we're a full generation apart, which is okay, and so I have to learn millennial stuff and what the millennials think.
Got to give him a little spanking here and there.
But it's
keep
good.
him in line.
But he's an old soul.
Yeah.
He is truly an old soul. And his dad, I know you're aware of Bill Yoak, Chino guy, and he grew up with the Stephensons and the whole Chino gang down there. So Scott was around all that in San Diego and California. So flying with him, he takes flying very serious. His dad was very, very, I'll just say, I don't want to say strict,
meticulous,
but very strong about you need to follow it, do it like this, do it like that.
Meticulous is a good word.
Meticulous, but he's very thorough.
Regimented.
And so it's very thorough, and it's very much, when we fly class 45, Scott goes up and he does his full aerobatic routine, which is incredible. It's probably the foremost aerobatic routine in a Mustang performed to this day. And I mean, he does vertical rolls up over the top and doing, snaps on the top, and just incredible. So he demonstrates the Mustang, then I fly my aerobatic routine, both vertical and roll series, and then we join up together and we fly the class 45, which is showing a P-51 Mustang and also a Corsair. And they're completely different.
Oh yeah.
But they really act really well together. And we fly very tight formation. We do acrobatic as well. And so you have to have confidence in the person you fly with. And I would never fly that routine with anybody but Scott Yoak.
Well, that's a special, definitely a special bond to have with somebody that you can go up there and put your lives in each other's hands.
Yes, no,
and put on a great show at the same time.
Yeah,
exactly.
it
But
is.
it's showing, and class of 45, not to digress too much, it represents, both aircraft are built in 1945. We're the sons of our fathers, continuing a tradition of being in the Warbirds. That's, restoring them, maintaining them, flying them, sweeping the floors, paying the bills, the whole money. And so both our fathers have passed, and we're continuing that legacy that our fathers introduced, because it was a father and son. I built the plane with my dad. We flew together, and so did Scott.
Yeah, you still got your dad's name on the side of your airplane.
Absolutely. That's another story that maybe if you remind me, I'll tell you about.
Yeah.
But at any rate, so it's like a family thing as well, about the way we grew up. So Class 45 represents more than just the iconic aircraft, but it's also the way we were raised.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll bite, Jim. You know, you've outed me as a Marine. Your dad was a Marine, so tell me a little bit about your dad.
Wow. Okay, Mom and Dad are both born and raised in Ohio, a little town called Painesville, Ohio, which is outside of Cleveland, up in Geneva on the lake. So that's where they were born and raised. And my dad, oh man, he went to various universities, Ohio State, he went to Pitt, he went to Carnegie Mellon. Well, actually, back up, Carnegie Tech, got his engineering degree, then it morphed into Carnegie Mellon. And then he was in the Marine Corps, and he flew various aircraft in the Marine Corps, and this was from the 50s. So he missed Korea and got out just before Vietnam, which is 1959.
There
so
you
he
go.
went in 52 or 53 and got out 59. And he flew prop. They were all transitioning to jets. That was going to be his next phase, is to go into jets. I was born in 57, so I was born at Cherry Point, North Carolina. And I was raised under Marine Corps ethics. You may know a little bit about Marine Corps ethics.
A little bit. That my Army family was very happy with the final product. They weren't very happy at the beginning, but the finished product they were pretty happy with. So, where did your dad acquire the Corsair? How did that come to be?
Dad loved Warbirds, but he was an engineer, designed and built steel mills in Pittsburgh. And that's
Wow.
where I grew up, was in Pittsburgh. This is throughout the 60s. So in the 70s, he got tired of the big corporate
Yeah.
deal. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So he decided to quit. He was vice president, board of directors, all this. We had country clubs and, PAA clubs in Pittsburgh and all this, and Dad quit. Well, yep, I'm going to start my own company, start from scratch. And he did. So all the country clubs, everything went away.
All the
It was
fun
like
stuff.
Dad's working out of the garage,
So that's
working
the-
his butt off.
That's
'cause
the
he wa-
accumulator company?
No,
Oh.
that came way. That's
Okay.
back when I got on
Okay,
board.
I don't want to
But
divert.
No, he just basically was designing systems, filtration, hydraulic, pneumatic, all different kinds of systems. Designed a system, represented products, sold them in Pittsburgh. And so he wanted to make a go at this and worked really hard. And I remember as a kid, there were some tough times.
Yeah.
But he was bound and determined to make it happen. And he did. But he didn't have the time to devote to aircraft. And again, I was growing up in the 70s and finally got to the point where he's ready. So we bought an SNJ and let's see, that would have been like 79, and worked on that. And now he wanted to get into the next level,
Yeah.
which was fighters.
Yeah.
So he acquired a couple of Bearcats.
Oh,
And so we had a couple of Bearcats, and we were going down that path, became real good friends with Howard Purdue,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he had the Bearcat parts. And
Of course.
and then Dad realized, these spar straps and all this really, it's a real, the gear.
Was
it's
this a
just
project then?
Yes,
These
it
were
was a
some
project
projects,
for
okay.
us. It was a project. And so we looked at this and the sequence valves and everything in that gear. It's just kind of a funky, and
Yeah.
any one of the sequence valves that sticks or goes malfunction, you're coming in gear up. So it's kind of like Dad goes, and plus he couldn't find parts and this, and he decided to sell the Bearcats. So he sold the Bearcats and bought the Corsair. I remember we went around looking at, I think we looked at 6 different projects because we couldn't afford
But
to
the-
buying a
the
flyer.
finished thing.
Turnkey.
They were $250,000. There's no way we can afford that. So let's get a project.
Yeah.
And so we looked at about 5 or 6 projects, and Dad decided on this one particular project, and it was in Homestead, Florida. And didn't know any history, didn't know anything. It was an Eastern pilot that owned it, and he gave us the history. It came out of Honduras as a parts plane, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Went to Kansas, and the guys were all going to restore it, and they went, ooh, that's rough. And so that guy, Ray Gentile was his name.
Ray Gentile.
Ray Gentile. Oh, so you do know.
I've
that
heard the name, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ray bought it. He's the one that brought it from Honduras.
Okay.
And then he sold it to Charlie Uncle, which was down, he was an Eastern pilot. And some things happened, and he decided to sell it. Probably was a divorce. And so he wanted to get rid of it.
Before or after?
And it was in a cement block building down in a lime and avocado orchard down in Homestead, Florida. And so anyway, Dad made a deal, and we trucked it back to Pittsburgh and started the rebuild. That was in 1981. And so that started the process of rebuilding. So it took about 10 years to build the aircraft. Got it flying in 1991, December 8th, 1991.
50 years.
Yep.
In a day.
And a day. And so it was flying, then we took it down south, got the paint job. So in 1992 was the first time it made it to the airshow circuit. So we were the first civilian owners to actually get it flyable since Honduras, since the Navy.
Wow.
So the lineage was really cool. So
Yeah.
Dad took the bureau number, went to Naval Archives,
Yeah.
and wanted to research it. What's its history? Where did it serve? Was it always a guard, plane?
Gate
We don't
guard,
know.
yeah.
You don't
Yeah,
know.
you
So
know,
he
yeah.
researched it, found out it was on the Valley Forge. Wow, USS
Okay.
Valley Forge aircraft carrier. Then did some more research, found out it was on the USS Boxer. Like, wow, this is really cool. So then he dug deep into when and where and found their bureau number was in this squadron. Oh, wow, let me look and see. So he'd contact the different families of these different squadrons to find out, hey, can you check your logbooks and see if there's,
anybody.
back then they were still around.
Yeah.
And so we had 6 pilots that actually flew the aircraft in combat in Korea.
In
Wow.
90s. In 92 still.
Well,
93.
this would have, it was.
No, but I'm saying they're still alive in 93.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
by
yeah,
then.
because that was actually in the 80s. And
80s,
we found
okay.
out.
We found it out in the 80s before we got it
Yes.
restored.
And so on the Valley Forge, it was a Akron-Canton squadron, but a lot of the guys came from Pittsburgh. Well, guess what?
Well,
we were
you guys-
rebuilding this in Pittsburgh, and it's like, holy cow!
The Mecca.
Cook Cleland, I'm sure you've heard that name
Yeah,
before.
absolutely.
Cook Cleland was a skipper in the squadron that our plane was in, and we found these pilots. And Mr. Hank Solkowski was one of the pilots that actually flew our plane, and he was in Pittsburgh.
Oh, wow.
And so we reached out, contacted him, and he was like, "Wow, where is this? Where's the plane at? I want to go see it." So it was in a little town called Zelienople, Pennsylvania, north of Pittsburgh. So Mr. Hank comes out, and oh my God, and almost brought him to tears because this is the plane he flew in combat.
Isn't that amazing?
It just
I mean,
is.
it's like it's meant to be that, you guys go out looking for, you look at 6 different projects, you find this thing in the middle of nowhere, Florida, you buy it, you bring it up, and then it's the center of the universe where it needed to be for everybody to really see this thing. I mean, we're running that a couple times
There's-
here with our
yeah.
projects, and you're just like, wow, it was meant to be that we were supposed to move. Otherwise, we would have never had any of these stories attached to it. So, I mean, that's special. That's amazing.
It's amazing. And so we had a number of them. We had the actual crew chief on the aircraft, and he lived in Cleveland, retired in Naples, Florida. So he would travel, long story short, but he would travel with my dad to air shows. This is the crew chief, and Lenny and Dad just went out and had a ball, on the
Great.
air shows.
Yeah, that's
He's
awesome.
famous. This is his bird,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. And when my dad passed away, I continued that relationship with Lenny, and I would take him to air shows. Oh, come on, Lenny, let's go to Lakeland, Florida, and he lived in Naples, so
that's
if I
not
went to Sarasota, if I went to Punta Gorda, he was right there. He'd come to the shows. He was my crew chief and direct me in and shut off, move over here, do this, and brought him back to his Navy
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
What
he
a-
was 92 when he passed away just 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
But
2 years ago.
He was actually, I was bringing him in on a wheelchair, and he wanted to see that bird fly.
Well, sure.
God, that's a story.
Yes, and now his family, I'm still very close with his
Yeah.
family and his girls and stuff, but that just really meant a lot to me. And now these, that generation is slowly going away.
It's not slowly.
But all of this I remember, and I was just blessed to be a part of it.
Yeah. So it's not even just about the flying. It's not about, getting to experience the flying. It really is about the legacy.
Absolutely.
Not only, your dad's legacy, but then you got these other guys that are attached to the airplane that you personally know throughout the years, and to carry that legacy on and to honor them. That just takes it to a whole different level, doesn't it?
It does. It
Yeah.
really, and I view myself as a caretaker.
Custodian, yep.
Custodian, caretaker,
Yeah.
however you want to phrase it, but yes, of that aircraft.
Well,
And it's my job to keep it in the best condition I have, and at some point, I don't know where it's going to go, where it's going to end up. Might end up in this museum. That's one of my options.
Yeah. Well, it's a good option. It's going to be taken care of here.
Exactly. That's my point.
I kind of know this airplane.
I still want to fly it,
Anytime,
if I
Jim.
can.
Anytime,
Jim.
If
I'm coming with my walker, okay, Jim.
It might be done.
Out.
We'll fly it by you.
I just want to pat her.
We'll put you out on the golf cart. And we'll fly over.
Her.
But that's the great thing about these pieces is the legacy that they represent will live on long after all of us even. And that's what they represent. I mean, they're magnificent machines, but it's the personal contact, the guys who flew them in combat, the guys who maintained them. And that's why we tell the stories, because it's all about the people. They're great machines, but they're machines.
Can I digress?
Please.
I was talking to Mr. Hank. He's out in the hangar, and this thing's still a mess. We're just putting it together, riveting, doing all this stuff. And, Hank had a picture of his daughter in the Corsair on his lap with a picture. Blonde-haired, real cute little girl. Well, now his daughter had a daughter. And so he got up in the cockpit, had his granddaughter, still the blonde hair, everything else, took a picture of it in his later days, and he has the picture of his
side
daughter.
By side.
Yes.
That's cool.
So that was just very heartwarming to see that. And he brought his helmet. He still had his helmet that he wore in Korea. And so it was just very warm. But what I was trying to say is, one day I asked Mr. Hank, I said, Mr. Hank, I said, you flew this off the carrier and did combat, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I said, the book shows the service ceiling of this aircraft at 41,000 feet. He goes, yeah. I said, have you ever taken it to 41,000 feet? And he goes, that is a very interesting story.
Oh.
He says, let me tell you, I did the same thing. I read the book, said 41,000 feet. He says, all our sorties were low level.
Sure.
Hit the carrier, we're hitting Korea. We don't go high, maybe 10,000, or if we're going to drop bombs or something, we may go a little bit higher and do a do a diving approach and shoot the rockets and stuff. But we never went really high. So he goes, 41,000. I think today I'm going to go to 41,000. So he got in the plane, launched off the carrier, and climbed. And he says, I climbed, and I climbed, and I'm shifting the blowers up to high blower all the way. He says, I'm climbing, and I'm climbing. I get into the 30s, and it's still climbing. I'm getting up to 38, and the feet per minute is just, he's just dragging.
Looking at his
and
gas
crawling,
doing this.
He says, and I got to 41,000 feet, and I leveled off. And he says, I had the plane at 41,000 feet. And I said, well, what was it like at 41,000 feet? He said, Jim, I took that stick, and it went like this, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
He said, that's enough for me. Put the nose right down. He said, I never did it again. I did it one time to see if it would actually go to 41,000.
I can't believe it had enough gas to get to 41,000 feet.
I imagine he had that heater full blast.
Oh, I'm sure.
This is in Korea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what time frame in the summer or winter.
Still, 41,000 feet, it doesn't matter.
I mean, I've been up in the 20s, but I can't imagine.
I'd say you fly that thing pretty high when you're going cross country.
Well, I got O2, so I can go as high as Buckaroo wants to go.
150 gallons underneath it, and strap it on and go.
Hey, there's weather up there. So sometimes you got to go over the weather, and that's going to be in the 20s. And
well, it's good to have the capability.
There's enough ponies in there to get you there.
Yeah.
You want to go, but as soon as you get over top, you're coming back down. But I just thought that was a great story. Those are the kind of stories I cherish from the heroes that flew this
it's real life. I mean,
it is real life.
It is real life, and you get to hear it all because you have it, and everybody wants to tell you the stories. That were involved in these things. Like they always want to talk to the guys that own the airplanes or fly the airplanes, because they have that a little more of a connection. Versus if I just talk about, I work on the airplane, but if I know your story or whatever.
By the way, you do a damn good job.
I try.
You do. You have come a long way.
I don't like getting those texts in August from Jim
Tobul. Mechanicals. You're my hero.
Like,
you're gonna bail me out.
Yeah. Well,
I need.
Yeah. Well, we enjoy. Really, it is a lot of stress to get that thing going and make sure because I don't. To talk about you being on the road all that time, when you get out somewhere, you're just out there on an island sometimes, right? You know, if something does go wrong with it, you're kind of like, oh man, I need to borrow somebody's ladder. I need to see if somebody's got a jack, you know, maybe some nitrogen. So you want to do everything you can in the winter time to prepare that so that, you know, you can have a flawless summer as well as you can. I mean, it's still an 80-year-old plus Warbird, and you're going to have some issues here and there, obviously, but.
Well, that was one thing Dad always emphasized. You know, we're engineers, so we understand the mechanical aspects. But he said, understanding that aircraft in all its aspects, all its systems. You know, when you actually build them, put them in, you're doing it. You understand I know every aspect of that airplane.
And you want to know every aspect because you don't want to be having to think about it when something's going on and you're in the air.
Well, that's another thing. Troubleshooting in the air,
and knowing, is
challenge.
This a
Something
problem?
failed. What do I need to do?
Yeah.
And knowing the systems as well as I do. Oh, that's another thing. You know the little red disc over there? It popped out.
Which red disc?
The red disc for the gear blowdown.
Oh, okay.
It's
really?
missing. If you could replace that.
Okay.
Sorry, didn't mean to digress here. But it just
writing that list
down.
down.
One more out over the side. At any
Okay.
rate, that's a disc. By the way, that's a disc. It's a red disc. It goes
Yeah.
on the side, and you have an emergency blowdown system. So if your hydraulic pump failed,
Right.
and whatever your hand pump if failed, you can blow the gear down
Right.
with
Yeah.
Nitrogen.
Actually, CO2 was
nitrogen.
the original system.
Yeah,
but we're using high pressure nitrogen.
Well, sure.
And so when you do that, okay, you have to completely go into the system, get all the air
Bleed it out, yeah.
And the only telltale sign is there's a little red disc on the side. If it's gone, it means somebody actuated. Now, that's really for the Navy side. But that's one thing the crew chief's looking for. Is that disc there or is it gone? That means that somebody deployed it.
Somebody blew
and
the-
I've got to go ahead and redo the whole system. So anyway.
Or somebody's got to go
Somebody's
ahead
gonna
and redo the
whole
system.
Yeah.
But no, getting
Welcome,
back to your
welcome to Scott's January.
yeah,
January.
When I come in, I just throw it down and say, "Here's my list of to-dos." You know,
Hey man, we
stocks.
appreciate it though. I mean, we like the work, and I like fabricating. That's kind of like my thing these days. I really enjoy fabricating stuff. But you know, it is nice to kind of pull off of that for a month and a half or whatever, and get dirty. You know, because I do get dirty with this thing, and make sure that it's right. And I'm getting to the point where I really know the airplane pretty damn well now. So it's kind of this. You know, the first couple of years it was like, what am I doing? But so I'm just glad that we can do that for you. I mean, we're honored when you get to go out and I see your videos on Facebook and you're out there with Yoak or you're out there with F-18s, and it's pretty prideful to go, oh yeah, that thing's still going.
Well, as an AMP and an IA, there's nothing on this airplane I can't do.
Yeah.
But nobody works on my airplanes. Okay, I do my own work because I know what Dad and I have always done that ourselves. But in this case, I have the utmost trust in you guys, you specifically, your dad, everybody at Westpac, and I really trust that airplane will be done right.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. Okay, remember.
Oh, I know,
nobody,
I know.
including me.
No,
okay,
I know.
and so
I'll be the first one to tell you that,
but
I'm not perfect.
This is the first organization I actually trust to do the maintenance of my airplane.
Well, you know, I'd like to say that we put the same mentality into your airplane that I would put into that T6 sitting there that I fly. You know, it's not my behind in that airplane, but your behind is just as important as my behind in my mind. So,
and I see that.
Yeah,
and that means a lot to me as a customer because I am.
I never want to get
Yeah.
that phone call from you saying, "Hey, I'm broke down," because it's like, oh, it failed in a little way. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather you were. I'd love it when you guys just come in. You're like, "It's been great. It's flying great. I don't really have anything," and then the list starts coming in eventually. Anyways,
Well,
there's always stuff.
It's an 80-year-old airplane.
Or I go
you
find
know?
the list. You know, I start pulling it apart and going, "Well, this is not right. This is broke. This is, you know." So.
But those are the things you catch prior to a failure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what's key.
That's the whole
Is
point.
putting your eyeball. I know your dad has always said,
Well,
this. Look
yeah.
at when you tear into something, look at everything around it when you're there.
Well, you know,
Which is
all
what-
of our airplanes. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No.
But I mean, all of our airplanes. You know, we put 5, 6, 7 hours on some of them a year. That's it. But you put hundreds of hours of work into it to just get those 5 or 6 hours out of it. You know, just to keep them in the condition they're in.
Well, no, what I've, not being an A&P or any talent whatsoever, what I've seen is there's no assumptions here. It's dig it in. Somebody says, "Oh yeah, this came in fine." It's when I think it was a Stearman showed up. You know, they flew it in, but
Well, then it's time
these
to get our eyes
guys,
on it. Yeah.
these guys took her down to parade rest, and every last thing got looked at, touched, verified, and you know, we laymen, we look at that and it's like, holy cow.
Well, you know, and also another aspect is we're a museum that's open all the time. So when we're flying in front of a crowd. You don't ever want to pull the airplane out and go to fire it up and have a dead battery. Or, you know, something that's embarrassing where you got to jump out of the thing and be like, sorry, folks, you know, hey, we forgot to disconnect or connect this or that. So, yeah, you're always on it.
Yeah.
Always on it.
Always.
So, so, you know, what are some of the challenges of being on the road? I mean, how many air shows? You kind of scaled down a little bit this last year.
Yeah, I was in the 20s, 25, and that was just a little too much.
Yeah.
So I pared it back to about 18.
Which is
and
still
that
a
was
lot.
still a lot.
That's
So
a
I'm trying to
lot.
pare it back a little bit. But Navy Legacy, we support 40 air shows a year that
Yeah.
the Navy performs.
It's one of our
all throughout
favorites.
the country.
It's one of our favorites we have at our show.
And yes, exactly. And in fact, I come out
You-
to fly
you
one of
flew
your
last- or
museum
You flew the
aircraft.
F3A last time.
Absolutely, the Brewster,
Yep.
and I have an aerobatic card, if they will. It's called a SAC card
Mm-hmm.
in the Corsair, so I can fly some aerobatics because of altitude here. I limit
Yeah.
what I do.
So do
Yeah.
the Blue
Plus,
Angels,
it's
by
a
the way.
respect for the museum aircraft.
Yeah.
I'm not going to run a hard routine with it.
Yeah.
But I show its capability. Do some
Yeah.
roll series, and people really enjoy seeing. A Brewster, it's the only one flying in the world.
Yeah.
I'm just blessed to be allowed to fly
Oh, not
and to
allowed.
demonstrate.
Welcomed
the
to
airplane.
fly.
And to reiterate
Requested.
your engineering and what you know about these airplanes,
Yeah.
you know, we had that airplane, and the first time you flew it, you came in, you're like, this doesn't feel right, that's not right, something's not right here. And then, you know, and then we started investigating, and sure enough, you know, there's aileron horns, there's a left and right, and there's two right aileron horns in it or something. You're not getting all the
Okay.
throw, and you're like, wow, he knew that. Like, he knew it's just a little off, you know, something about it. In the way that Jim does, you know, it's not
Yeah.
like, this thing sucks. He's like, you know, it's just a little bit off. And
You
so
know-
it really helped us.
Well, when the plane came back, you know, for the first time, and you guys had it, it was like brand new.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim, will you go out and take it, you know, for a spin? Sure. I still remember it because it's burnt into my brain. I had 43 squawks.
Yeah.
No, some of them are very minor.
Yeah.
And some of them need to be addressed like pronto.
Now.
You know, but if they're varying degrees.
Sure.
There was 43.
Yeah.
But you're coming out of a full restoration, not
Full
by you guys,
I was-
by somebody else.
Yes.
So you have to get baseline.
But I mean,
which
that's
is every aspect.
and to be fair, that happens in a restoration. I mean, you know,
does.
that's why you do test flights. That's why you do high-speed taxi tests. That's why you do all these things before you know, hey, it's time to go do the air show circuit or something. So it's not an uncommon thing.
No, but out of restoration,
Yeah,
it is.
right out of restoration.
In fact, when you guys finish my airplane, I test flew it.
yes.
You know, I'm not going to say I didn't have any squawks because I didn't.
No. Yeah. Right.
Any rate, so we started that out. You guys addressed everything. And the last time I flew it at the air show, how many squawks did I have? Exactly.
Yeah.
Not a single squawk. That airplane performed perfectly
Yeah.
in all respects. So that airplane is now dialed in. So when Charlie flies, he goes, "Oh no, everything was fine." I said, "Don't worry, it was all taken care
Yeah, it
of
was all
before
taken-
you flew."
So, and speaking of the Brewster, I mean, you've flown it, and then yesterday you got to fly formation with it in your airplane. So, I mean, it's kind of like even more full circle type.
It was great. It was great seeing Robbie up in there, you know, because I'm looking in the cockpit, watching flying off his wing, looking at the belly, and it was just, you know, the Brewster is a very unique aircraft.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And having, again, great pilots, Robbie, I tucked in so tight, even the camera guy is going, Jim's really tight. That's the way I'll fly with Scooter. And I'm telling Robbie, hey, I'm under your belly. And if I wanted to, I could have pushed him up a little bit because the Corsair has what they call
Yeah.
is like a bump. It's like an air bubble, and you can push I push Scooter up all the
Yeah,
time.
that's what you're saying, yeah.
You know, ooh, he's like, yeah, I felt that. You know, yeah.
Little goose.
Because that's one of our passes is a
Yeah.
stack down pass. Or, you know.
Yeah, I was looking at the GoPro footage because I had a camera on the back of the bomber, and it was funny because he bails out, and you weren't in frame yet, and then all of a sudden you went, hello. I was like, whoa, there he is. It was pretty great.
Hello.
But yeah, that's the shot. And I got to look at it and go, okay, yeah, that looks good. That looks good. I mean, that's how close.
Well,
it
even
was.
I hope somebody got the echelon takeoff from the ground, even, because that was
I saw it. I actually posted this morning, and I saw it, and I went,
okay. Good.
and there we go. Rob.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys
I mean-
went off together. I didn't
Well,
even
I
know
told
that.
him, I said, we're doing a section element takeoff. And
Yeah.
Robbie looks at me and goes, okay. I said, you're lead. Don't worry. Just go
Oh,
that
that's
way.
cool. I didn't know
So
that.
I took off
Yeah,
on
it-
his wing.
I'm glad somebody got it.
I figured
then.
it'd be kind of cool because we're heading towards over
sure.
the museum.
Yeah, it's.
And that
I
somebody
mean,
might get a shot, and they did. It was nice.
And I guess
Yeah.
so the people at home know that, we're talking about all this filming that we're doing, and we've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks, that we're going to be doing this documentary series, which we're right in the middle of filming, and unfortunately today we had some weather, so we weren't able to film today. That's why we're in here doing this.
Which is a
but
great time for a podcast.
It's a great
Yep.
time for a podcast, so here we are, taking
So-
advantage of having great talent here and getting to pick their brains a little bit and get some stories. So
That was great, flying off that Brewster.
yeah. Well, and I got a little video of him down there peekabooing from underneath the B-25, and it's gotten a lot of views on Facebook. So, yeah,
Great.
I
Good
mean,
stuff.
seeing that stuff from the air is, and unfortunately, not a lot of people get to experience that in real life. You can see it on videos and it looks cool, but man, just seeing those things in their element in the air is a whole different dimension.
I am so excited about the flight tomorrow morning.
Oh, aren't you?
Oh
Yeah.
my God. 2 Tiger Cats and 2 Corsairs
That-
in a formation flight. Incredible.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. Two
Yeah.
Corsairs and 2 Tiger Cats together in one flight.
Yeah.
And so we're already figuring out what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Should we have the Tiger Cats flank? Well, then let's do that, and then we'll swap the Corsairs, and then guess what? The Corsairs are going to be flanked, and the Tiger Cats will be in the center. So
Yes.
I'm hoping that we
Always
get
different.
some really.
Well, I'm going to
nice-
have my GoPros out there, and then we're going to have the production crew doing all their things. So we're going to get it all. I want to
Yeah.
see
This
all
will
of
be
that.
a first time because
Yeah.
I've never in my life seen this 4 aircraft.
And then
flying
you get to be a
together.
part of it.
may never.
Exactly.
It may never have happened. Really.
Yeah,
if
maybe
you-
in Korea.
Probably
They didn't
not
really
the-
mix them up
They
like
didn't mix
that
them like
because
that?
they were
The-
different missions.
the Tiger Cats were flying at night.
nighttime.
yeah.
See, they were all night
And
fighters.
yeah, I mean, whether or not it has happened before, it certainly
But it won't
hasn't.
be
Well, if they were
documented.
flying from the boat, they might have flown together, but they'd have different speeds, and they usually stick amongst themselves.
Yeah.
Mixed aircraft, usually you didn't see it much.
No, it'd be a fun thing, but it's something for us to look forward to.
We're excited
Yeah.
about it, yeah.
yeah.
I'm excited.
Well, I know you're
good.
excited. That's why you're like, you're done for the season.
Yes.
And you brought your airplane over here, and then we talked to you about doing all this stuff, and you were like, oh, really?
Well,
Yes, I will love to fly back out here on, by the way, on his anniversary.
Yep.
Yeah, thank Shelly
That was
for
yesterday. Yeah.
being so gracious with your time once again. We seem to like.
I will swing by the jewelry store.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
you know.
Well, she'll be watching this maybe, and so now you got to
Well,
hold
Oh,
yourself.
By
to
the-
it.
wait a minute.
Hey,
Oh,
wait.
Is this recorded?
By the time she sees this, she should already
Already
be wearing
have
it.
the bling.
Ah, there we go. That's a good point.
Yeah.
And she will be.
So I know you got another Corsair project, right? You got any plans in the future for that, or is that kind of on the back burner?
Well, you know, it's tough when you have the number of aircraft that I have, and it's me.
Yeah,
You know, and my SNJs, I fly them 1 hour a year.
yeah,
When I do the annuals on them, that's sad.
yeah.
That's very sad because I just don't have the time to fly.
Yeah.
And if I restore another one, I mean, I'm already snorting air out of one nostril because I have the SNJs, I have a bird dog, I have a husky, and you know, I do a lot of maintenance myself. I do all that maintenance. Thank you
If-
for doing the maintenance on my girl here.
Hey,
If I
Happy
may,
to do it.
Jim, I know you run cattle, so the concept
Oh.
is not foreign to you, but it might be time to thin the herd. You know, I hate to, you know,
Everything is on the
suggest
table at
that.
this point, but then again, I still have a company. I manufacture hydraulic
Sure.
cylinders. So when that goes away, that will allow more extra time.
Well, there you go.
And I'm thinking about that next step.
Yeah.
And yes, the cattle ranch with the cattle and the horses, that's my end game.
Yeah.
But right now, it's just part of my life,
Well,
which, by the way, we're doing cattle drives this week, so I'm missing the
missing
cattle
that
drive.
as
They had
well.
to fill my spot down there, but that's
Yep.
okay. I'm doing a documentary, so
And you're flying with a
everybody
Brewster,
goes,
you know, what
Yeah,
can you say?
we
and-
understand.
Yeah, yeah.
They-
We really
they
do
will.
appreciate
They
you
will.
being out here for this, because that really added just a whole nother dimension, having that beautiful bird in the air.
Well, I'm honored to be
Yeah.
here.
Well, thank you for coming on out. I had another question.
I know, we bounce around
We're all over the place.
I
It was in
know.
my
Well,
head.
but that's the mark of a good conversation, you know, rather than just,
one
you know,
topic.
yeah.
When you
yeah.
digress and
Well,
you
you-
go off into different tangents, that's really.
I'm in the presence of Renaissance men.
So you've been
So-
doing this a long time. I mean, how much longer do you think you got?
I don't know. You know, that's a
You-
that's a
You're not
valid
looking
question.
at the end game yet. You're just kind of like,
No,
I'm
I
just
mean,
gonna
you
enjoy
know,
it and
I'm going to say it. I'm 68.
still having a good
and
time.
I'm enjoying life. I'm healthy. Life is golden. I'm a beautiful wife, a beautiful life, and
Yeah.
you know, everything is just where it needs to be right now.
Yeah.
But again, when I do the aerobatics, that's probably the first thing I'll pull off my list.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, I'm still in good health. I'm at
You'll-
the top of my game, and I will go out on the top of my game.
Yeah.
You'll
I
know.
will not allow myself to,
That's the engineer in you.
Yes, it is, and I know when I start to feel that, it's done.
Time to go.
And that's okay. I'm
Yeah.
still gonna
No,
fly it.
that's
I'm
good.
still gonna fly formation. I'll do stuff. I just won't do the
Go out to an
back
air
work.
show and just show it off and let the
Absolutely.
public see it like it needs to
I'm
see.
still
be
on the
seen.
board of EAA board, you know, Warbirds America. I'll probably still be at Sun and Fun, and I fly the racetrack. I fly the racetrack. You know,
Yep.
and that's good. Still flying the girl.
Yep.
So I'm ready. No, I'm just seeing because life is life, and you know, age catches up to all of us.
Yeah.
So,
If we're lucky.
and when we all age differently.
Yeah.
That is true.
There's that.
If you quit, if you slow down, that's when you really slow down.
Exactly.
So if
Mhm.
you keep it going,
It's like my mom. My mom is 92 and still drives to the store, and you know,
Yeah.
she does great. So hopefully, I got a lot of my mom in me.
I got my dad, you know. He goes hiking. I got to hear his stories every week.
I don't know how he
He
does
goes
that.
hiking and he's just, I won't let anybody pass me. You know, I don't care how old they are. You know, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm
well,
amazed with your dad.
yeah. Well, that's the thing is he's got more. You know, plate spinning constantly. I think it just he doesn't have time to think about slowing down
No.
because he's just got too much going on. But so you're kind of done for the winter. So
Yes, and so I'm done for the winter. We have these repairs we have to make on the aircraft,
Mhm.
which is totally expected.
Well, yeah, that's
Well, we're
true.
dealing with unexpected, but also it's routine. We found some more things by
Yep.
opening things up. So this is a good time. Sometimes you just have to say when.
Yep.
And this is when.
get to breathe a little bit,
So I
catch your breath.
stop it. Let's do a full check it out, because in around February I'll be heading to Lemoore, NAS, Naval Air Station Lemoore. I'll be doing the flight quals for the 2026 season with the Navy,
Mhm.
so that we're all qualified. The Admiral signs off and FAA signs off, so we're qualified to fly our routines in air shows around the country for 2026. So you get me ready for that. I have no drop tank
Yeah.
because I unexpectedly came here,
Yep.
so that's okay. I just have to make additional stops there. And then when I come back, you guys usually prep it up, because in March, I take it back to South Carolina, and then
Then it
that
starts again.
my
Whole thing again.
2026 air show season. And as you remember, this year, I did my training, came back. The first air show I was assigned was Key West.
Yeah.
So you're talking about in distance.
Yeah.
I was
That's-
in California.
Yeah.
It's a hike.
Fresno, California. Came back to Colorado Springs. Boom.
Key West.
Next stop, Key West.
And then Sun and Fun
And
after
then
that, right?
when I was done with Key West, went NAS Key West, Naval Air Station Key West,
Yep.
which is called Boca Chica. That's
Mhm.
the name of the Navy base. And so performed there, and then went up to Sun and Fun. So yeah, when you talk about putting
It's
some
miles.
mileage, and
It's some miles.
the dogs were barking. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean that is a long ways from California to Key West.
Yes, it is.
So guess what? There's more hours this year.
Yeah.
Well, you got any last questions? Any
No,
last comments?
no, it's just a treat. I've enjoyed our conversations starting at air shows and the like. Now that we're quasi neighbors, I hope to be able to spend some time with you and Shelley and just enjoy the valley and your company, because you're a fascinating guy, Jim, and I like fascinating people.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's reciprocal too. But you need to come see my bird dog. I did not know the bird dog history. I learned something today, and thank you.
In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
And now it's howdy, neighbor.
It is. It is. That's cool.
And then I guess I'll just leave it off on the fact that we're going to have our air show again this time next year. So I guess we should go ahead and put in the request for Shelley now.
No, because your dad told me the dates, and it was outside.
Okay. Then
it was like I could just get home in time. Anniversary.
Then I guess we will see you out here next year for the air show.
Absolutely.
If not before.
Look forward to it.
All right, Jim. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Well, that was a heck of an episode, huh? Sitting down with Jim Tobul. So what are your thoughts on all that?
I think the word that keeps popping up for me, Scott, is legacy. You know, you and your dad, Jim and his dad, Votel, the Mustang guy,
Scott Yoak.
Scott Yoak,
Yeah.
taking over from his dad.
Yep.
The story of a 9-year-old Jim Tobul getting sucked into the Warbird business. Of course, you probably got sucked in about that same age.
Yeah, roughly. Pretty close.
And I think that's a neat thing that, you know, one of the things that, again, came up for me is these airplanes are legacies too. They're legacies to the guys who built them, flew them, maintained them. The story of a 92-year-old crew chief on the air show circuit with Jim was great.
And and you're right. I think the legacy thing is definitely getting passed down. I mean, that's the only way that this stuff's going to continue.
Yeah.
Because, you know, speaking on the 92-year-old guy, you know, my generation, and even after me, probably 10 years, we were getting those stories firsthand.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a little bit different. You know, like, it was really great to sit here and hear the story from Jim about that, but it doesn't hit like it would if you were actually getting that story from the crew chief.
Well,
you know, so I mean, I think it's kind of it's going to be tough to kind of keep this going and get the next generation really excited, because they're not really getting that firsthand. But I mean, just that, and that's the whole point of, like, the flying and him going to the air shows.
Yeah.
And putting the airplane through the paces and showing, like, getting that, oh my God, look at that. Oh, it's real. You know, it's not a video game.
Yeah.
It's not something that you heard in a story. It's visceral. You feel it. You see it. You know that it's real.
Yep.
And that's what is going to get that motor running for some young 9-year-old kid.
Well,
you know?
did for me when I saw Mira Slovak in a Bearcat.
Yeah. And that's what gets these guys going, you know, when they're young. I mean, that's what got me excited. I love the airplanes, you know, but as you get older and you're around it, and that's when the stories and the legacies, and that's when that starts to take over more of importance than the actual just like, oh, let's go fly the airplane and be cool.
Well, and that's the session we had with your dad about making sure these airplanes are exactly as they were when they were operational, not just some, you know, it's a flyer. It's kind of like a car restoration. Well, it's a driver. But to really play to that accuracy.
Well, and that's for all of us nerds, you know, and the people, and it does. I mean, there is a difference when you look at, like, say, White 33 or now Jandina that's out there, the FHC collection, versus, you know, maybe something that's been flying around for the last 30 years and is you know, it's a good flyer.
Yeah.
But I mean, yes, there is a visual difference. You can see, oh, this is kind of what it was like in the war. But I mean, as far as just getting that initial hit, I mean, it just, I mean, you could just take a bone stock. You can make something that didn't even look like a P-38, go out and fly it and get somebody excited about it.
Well, and you would. And yeah, as we get deeper and deeper into this, yeah, we nerd out on how cool it is to have it exactly like it was. But the airplane itself, though, I think prompts a lot of those stories. You know, the guys who flew into combat probably wouldn't just, hey, I flew Corsairs in Korea. They need that impetus of, yes, I flew that airplane in combat in Korea, and it was so good that, you know, Jim and his dad were able to reach those guys in the 90s when they were still around.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, and that's something that is going to be lacking from here on out. You know, you're not going to have that first-hand experience to draw from, but I mean, that's what they're here. That's what Jim continues doing, what he's doing, because he wants to continue those legacies, those people's stories, and honor them and honor what they fought for and what they accomplished.
Yeah. Well, and that just makes it more incumbent on those of us who do nothing but talk and tell stories, to tell the stories as best we can, and you know, the little bits about these airplanes that need to be passed on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's on all of us.
Yeah.
Everybody who's involved in this industry at all, you know, whether it's a museum docent or, I mean, even the front desk people. I mean, they have a story to tell, or to help convey, to get somebody to the story. So I mean, it's all important. You know, we all have a role.
Well, and again, seeing them in their element, I thought the air-to-air, just the little bit I saw of the Corsair, that's going to be really something.
Yeah, I'm extremely blessed that I got to be a part of that. You know, especially see so many different formations. I mean, I got to fly with almost everything in this museum this last week. So to say that is, you know, I didn't get to see it all firsthand. Every once in a while I'll be able to peek out the window and I could see a glimpse back there of something really cool going on. But you know, I mean, just to know that I was a part of that. And I mean, it's a different, like I said, not a lot of people get to experience that firsthand, but it is a different view. And these airplanes look different when the gear's up, they're cleaned up, props are spinning, and they're bouncing around about 20 feet off your wing.
Yeah, and that'll be amazing to see when, you know, the Coleman documentary finally comes out. But just your GoPro stuff, I mean, that way you don't have to get too distracted.
Well, yeah, I think you
have a job.
We got a little snippet of that at the beginning of this episode, so you'll get to see a little bit of the Tobul flying right behind the B-25.
Yep.
So I mean, it's all exciting, man, and that's what we do this for. That's why we put in the extra hours to keep these things in the air where they belong.
Yep.
Despite some people's thoughts and feelings on it, you know, nothing lasts forever. So, you know, if something does happen, whatever, God forbid, then, I mean, that's just the way life goes. But at least up until that point, it's in the air, things are flying, people get to see it. Like I said, you get to excite people on a different level.
You do.
It's exciting to come into a museum and see things that you haven't seen before, you know, sitting there. But it's different when all of a sudden they open the doors and they hook it up to a tug and pull it out, and then you get to see the props spinning, clearing the cylinders, and then firing up with the oil and the smoke and the
sound. A lot of oil.
Yeah, sometimes a lot of oil, depending on the airplane. It is a visceral thing, and you know, and for a guy like Jim to be able to take that on the road, you know, and take, I mean,
share the
wealth.
Know,
like you said, he went from 25 air shows a year. You're talking those are 3 day.
Yeah.
Because you're talking, you know, practice day, two show days. You're talking a day to get there, a day to get out of there, and that's if everything goes perfect.
Yeah.
You know, and you're not. Oh, you wake up in the morning and then there's a tail wheel flat. You know, okay, now I got to change the tail wheel out, and we got to, you know, whatever it is, to be able to make that commitment.
Yeah.
And to go out and do that and bring that to the people.
Well, it's, you know, like it's inspiring to see the Spirit of St. Louis at the Smithsonian, but that airplane's never going to fly again.
It's never going to move again.
Yeah.
You know, unless they pull it
And
back to do some work on it.
It's cool,
yeah.
but not like seeing them actually in the air.
We have a
and
Lindbergh
hearing
plane
'em.
here.
Yeah, we do.
You know, and it flew in here,
Yeah.
but it's probably never going to fly again just because of the history on it, you know.
Well,
And I see it every day, and it's cool, but it's not as cool as that or
No.
that,
Nope.
you know, when they're flying.
yeah, I tell folks that it did fly in, but I think the call to the insurance guy might not permit it to be flown.
Yeah, it's just too much history.
It's well, it's
on it,
beautiful.
so
It's a
beautiful
beautiful
airplane,
piece.
So
But these are just righteous,
yeah,
and we're lucky we get to hang around with them. You get to fly them. Hopefully, I get to fly in them. But the conversation with these talented guys who operate and, in Jim's case, maintain the airplane. I mean, that was pretty much a signal honor he gave to you that you are the other guy who works on his airplane.
yeah. I think I was thrust on him a few years ago. You know, it went from the shop and it turned into me. So you know, we definitely had a few years where we're trying to communicate and deal with stuff together and get on the same page. But I think we're there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's been a really great partnership. I'd almost call it a partnership.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, because you know, like I said, he's bringing it in here and trusting that he can go home and get back to the cattle, and then spend some time with the wife.
Yeah.
And then that when he comes back and it's time to hit it all again, that it's ready to go, and that he can get through a season without, you know, issues. You know, that can be handled in the wintertime. I mean, you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna have some issues.
Well,
Here and there. It's an 80-year-old airplane, 80-year-old plus parts. So I mean, we do the best we can, but we're just really lucky to have him on the team and to bring his plane in here. And it's great for the museum too to have 2 Corsairs on display for several months out of the year.
particularly such different looking Corsairs.
Yeah. I mean, we got a -1, Brewster Corsair, and then you have a -4 Vought Corsair, and they are a different airplane.
Yeah.
A much different airplane.
Yeah. Apparent even to the layman.
Yeah.
But it was a treat to.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a week, huh?
Yeah, it has been.
To knock out, some stories with these guys.
I'm
on
gonna.
and off camera.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna hold Jim to visiting his bird dog up in the valley.
Yeah, I
there.
wouldn't mind if he starts wanting to pare down some airplanes. Maybe you can have him ferry that thing down here. I know we have one, but
Yeah,
you
but
know, that's a little.
It.
I need a little more of a flyer.
I want a brown shoe army bird dog like my dad flew in Korea.
Yeah.
And the Hunter Orange just puts me off a little bit.
Yeah. Well.
So, but that's for the future.
Yeah.
This was a great time with Jim. We've got some sessions with a couple of the other guys. We'll catch them as catch can, and keep the conversation going.
So yeah, I guess we don't really have a whole lot. I guess we're getting into the winter months here at the museum. By the time this drops, I think we'll be about a week out from the P-38 fly day.
Yeah.
So we do have a week, and that will be the last fly day of the month, or the year, I should say.
The year.
Until springtime. Other than that, it's going to start getting a little bit quiet around here as far as flying. I mean, every once in a while we got the T6 up flying again, so that'll be flying
great.
a lot more. Might be looking to get some more people checked out and some stuff, and which means things will be flying. It's just not scheduled.
Yeah, well, and I hope in a future podcast, maybe we could even do an SNJ and a T6 together.
Yeah,
since
we got a couple of those guys around here.
Yeah.
Pilots.
Yep.
An SNJ owner and is a docent. But yeah, I guess that's about it, huh? We could
pretty much
talk about, if you want to go to any of our websites or see any of our social media, just go ahead and hit us up on the description. You'll see it on our description. If you would like to see anything throughout the year from Jim Tobul on his adventures through the air show circuit, you can find him at Korean War Hero on Facebook, I think he's on Instagram too.
I've seen a great YouTube video, at least an hour long, of walking around this airplane.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there with Jim and the Korean War Hero, and we put a lot of. He had us install some cameras in this thing a few years back, so there's some great footage he's got. Like I said, flying with F-18s off his wing and such. So, just check him out on social media, and I guess for my partner here, Rob Gale, and producer William Stephenson behind the screen, and myself, Scott Clares. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Winged Victory with Rob and Scott. Stay safe out there.
Thanks.